Well, good evening and welcome to the GMRS 1900 Net. And this is Gary, WQZ645, and I'll be your net control for the evening. Before proceeding with the net, I'm going to check for any stations with emergency or priority traffic. Any emergency or priority traffic, please go ahead and call in now. Hearing none, if during the net there's any such traffic, you're free to break in at any time. The GMRS 1900 Net is a directed net where we discuss matters related to GMRS and other topics. While a directed net is in operation, all radio traffic should go through net control. This net is normally held every Tuesday night on the Phoenix High Power 550 repeater, transmitting on 462.550 megahertz from the White Tank Mountain at 7 p.m., also known as 1900 hours. The net is normally conducted utilizing the national travel tone of 141.3 hertz. If you do not have that tone installed in your radio, you should do so as soon as practicable. Participation in the net is still possible using the regular club tone in place on your radio, and you put that in monitor mode. All participants are encouraged to use monitor mode during the net to ensure that you don't miss anyone transmitting on a different tone. The GMRS 1900 Net website can be found at azgmrs.org and is operated by the Arizona GMRS Repeater Club. We'll start the net by asking for check-ins from our Zell users, and after that I'll go ahead and start with our RF users. So any Zell users, go ahead and call in now.
This is WRJS 273, Dave in Phoenix. Check me in.
Okay, Dave, you're all checked in. Any other Zell users?
WRKJ 520 out of South Scottsdale checking in. Over.
Okay, what was your name, 520?
Keith, K-E-I-T-H. Sorry about that. Over.
Okay, Keith, we've got you checked in. Any other Zell users tonight? Okay, let's go to our RF users. Any stations that have not checked in and logged in on the net, go ahead and check in now on the radio with your name and call sign.
WRQV 811, Flagstaff, Arizona, Kevin Fix.
Okay, Kevin, we've got you checked in. Any other stations?
Here, Bubba, Gary.
Go ahead and try it again, Bubba.
Whiskey Romeo Papa Yankee 760, Bubba checking in.
Okay, 760, we got you checked in. Any other stations?
WRDN 953, Doug, can you check me in and out, please, Gary?
Okay, Doug, we'll take care of you. Any other stations?
WRCG 637, Steve.
Okay, Steve, we got you checked in. Any other stations? Okay, we had a double there, two stations at the same time. and I couldn't really read any of them. So go ahead and try it again, just one at a time.
WRKL 693, Chuck in Northfield.
Okay, we've got Chuck 693 checked in. Any other station?
WRPW 729, Bob and Surprise.
Okay, Bob, we got 729 checked in. Any other stations?
WRNW 736, James, in and out.
Okay, James, we got you checked in and out. Any other stations? Okay, this is WQZ 645 Net Control. Let me just check one more time for any RF stations checking in. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and after this we're going to pose our topics and ask for input. We've got a question for you, and we'd like to get everybody's comment on that. And we'll get started here in just 1 second, but I do want to go through a couple of announcements first. And just keep in mind, it's getting closer now to the GMRS Connection Fest coming up on Saturday, June 4th. And the information there is on the website as far as the location and the time. It starts out about 8 a.m. in the morning, and it's turning out it's going to be a pretty good setup there. We're going to have some information, presentations. We're going to have some displays. We'll have our some installation displays and some cars and trucks for people to look at. We're going to have our mobile repeater trailer out there for people to check out as well. And we're going to have some equipment, free equipment testing available to check out your equipment, make sure that it's operating right, it's putting out the wattage you paid for, and it's on frequency and that type of thing. And also we're going to have a raffle going on. We're going to have some radio equipment grabs in the raffle there as well. So it's going to turn out pretty good. So hope you can make it there. Again, that is Saturday, June 4th. And on Saturday, June 11th at 11 a.m. at Barrow's Pizza there on 67th Avenue, we've got another get-together there where we just get together. We have a good time. We talk about radios, and we eat food. So hopefully you can make it there. And then on Saturday, June 18th at 1 p.m., we're going to have our general meeting and board meeting. And that will be at 1 p.m. there on the 18th. You can check out any of these events on the calendar on the website there and get more information at any time. This is WQZ 645 Net Control. And we're going to head on over to our roster list here, because we've got a question coming up for everybody. And the question is, so what events or training would you like to see the club have in the future? And that, of course, is in addition to the Connection Fest coming up on June 4th. So what events or training would you like the club to have in the future? And that's the question we've got for you tonight. Now let's start out with Keith in Scottsdale, 520.
This is Keith over in Scottsdale, WRKJ 520. Thanks for including me in. I just wanted to say that I think you guys are doing a super job. You know, it's a volunteer organization. I think you guys do a lot of work for no money, and it's a good thing, and I appreciate all that you do. What I would like to see is if we could find a way to do programs that are more on the east side of the valley, in Scottsdale, Mesa, and that type of thing. And I would love to see if we could do like a spaghetti dinner, or maybe we meet at Golden Corral or something like that and have a semi-annual get-together, just a camaraderie type of building thing. On top of the fest, I think it's fantastic. I tell you, I'm excited about the fest. WRKJ 520, South Scottsdale. This is Keith. Over.
Okay, Keith. Well, we appreciate that, and that's a good idea. I like that. We should switch back and forth between different sides of the county when we got events going on. So that's a good idea. We already do that with the RDF Challenge. We just had one last year in the Usury Pass Park there, and this year it's going to be in White Tanks Park when we have the RDF Challenge in October. So we'll see if we can put that information to good use there, Keith. Okay, let's go over to Carlos at Buckeye 480. Okay, let's try Sam in Phoenix 933. And let's give a call to Mike in Chandler 431. Mike. Let's go over to Sun City West. Kenneth 385. You out there? Well, let's try Ken over in Whitman. That's 516. See you out there, Ken? Well, let's go way over to the other side of the county here in Apache Junction. 759 Robert. Robert, you out there? Okay. All right, Don in Phoenix 328.
This is Don, WRPS 328, and good evening to you, Gary. Appreciate you taking a net tonight. You know, I've been thinking about the question and thinking, and I can't think of anything on my own, but the spaghetti dinner sounds like a good idea, especially if we could make it a low-calorie spaghetti dinner. WRPS 328.
Okay, Don. So you're going right along there with Keith there. It looks like. So that is a good idea, though. I like that. To just have a few more dinners, maybe on different parts of the county, make it easier for people to get there. So appreciate that comment there, Don. Let's go over to Kendall and Flagstaff 835. Well, let's try Bob in Surprise, 729.
Hello, this is Bob in Surprise, and I am so new at this that I'm just soaking it all up. I'll be at the Connection Fest and maybe have suggestions after that. Thank you very much. WRPW 729 monitoring.
Okay, Bob, sounds good, and I hope to see you up there. And let's go over to Bill in Mesa, 208. Well, let's try Ray in Goodyear 209.
Hey, good evening, Gary and the rest of the net. Just first I'd like to say you guys are doing an amazing job. Every morning when I'm driving to work and driving home from work, I'm just amazed that you're on there giving that traffic and weather report. So thanks for that. That's outstanding. I'm relatively new to this, but I got a ham license also. And what I find interesting there is the events they do, like field day and fox hunts, and we went up and built an antenna the other day. So things like that are appealing to me, and I haven't been a GMRS user long enough to be involved in any of that on this side, but that's something that appeals to me. So I'll turn it back to you, WRP H209.
Okay, Ray, yeah, that's a good idea as well. Getting out there and to put up a base antenna or something like that, just kind of have an antenna party and everybody gets together and gets that put up there. So I like that kind of thing. That's a good idea. And let's go over to Walker in Phoenix 215.
This is Walker, WRPL 215. Gary, thanks for hosting the net tonight. Everything, you guys are doing this a great job. I can't really think of any training. The one thing that really comes to my mind is a couple of years ago, maybe a training would be how to coordinate with the public. We had a fire in Cave Creek a couple of years back, and people had horses, and there's only like 2 lanes of traffic, and there's a lot of confusion. And people were going to Facebook to try to evacuate, and it just seemed like there wasn't a really coordinated a communication that would help people. So I'm kind of fascinated about that, how to interact with, I'm the public too, but how to interact with people, like with maybe, those blister pack, walkie-talkies, and say, hey, this is how you evacuate, or something like that. That's kind of interesting to me.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. We could integrate that with our Community Emergency Net program through the Emergency Services Group, the CNET program. That could probably kind of be put together with that. So, yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Thanks, Gary. It's Walker at Central and Camelback area, WRPL 215.
Okay, good comment. And let's go over to Bill in Phoenix 257.
WRMR 257. Good evening, Gary and the net. Boy, I'm a little brain dead today. Didn't really come up with anything, but I'm kind of liking what I've heard so far. So I'm not going to be much help tonight, unfortunately. I do kind of like the idea of, once in a while, get some get-togethers on the east side. You guys that are over there towards the Republic of California, Anyways, sorry, I just don't have much for you tonight. WRMR 257, back to net.
Okay, Bill, appreciate that comment there. Let's go over to Brian in Phoenix 281. Well, let's try Brent over in Mesa 299. You out there, Brent?
Are you able to copy me, Gary?
Yep, no problem.
I'm kind of going along with everybody else is discussing. I don't have input. W2WZ 299.
I'm going to assume that you're going to like the idea of having more events over on the east side.
Yeah, a couple would be nice throughout the year.
Okay, yep, sounds like a good idea.
And I do apologize for not making it live.
Well, you missed some good food there.
Yeah, I know, and I heard there was some ranting going on that I wasn't there, but I do plan on getting to the connection fest come heck or high water. W2WZ 299.
All right, we'll see you out there. Let's go over to John in Goodyear 326. John.
Hello, Gary. This is John, WRGI 326. I really appreciate all that you do, especially during the mornings and afternoons. The only thing I can think of is maybe something regarding
Okay, sounds good to me.
Alrighty, that's all I have. This is WRJI 326, back to net.
All right, John, appreciate your comment there. And let's go down to Bill in Flagstaff. Bill 347.
This is Bill, WRD 347. Good evening, Gary and everybody. It's always fun just to listen to everyone's answers and impressions and ideas. This is just the gas every Tuesday. I'm a remote user and don't get down to the valleys often, and maybe more remote or online resources maybe for folks that aren't physically there. That's all I have to offer this evening. WRD 347, clear.
Okay, Bill. Yeah, that is a good idea. We've actually been having some discussions about maybe putting some things online and maybe a couple training courses. So we will definitely look at that. So good comment there. Now let's go over to Rob in Surprise 382.
This is WRNZ 382, Rob in Surprise. You reading me all right tonight?
Coming through loud and clear there.
Oh, good. Well, all I can think of, I don't know if it wouldn't really qualify as a event or training course, but I think a lot of beginners could benefit from a guide to terminology and acronyms, both slang and technical.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me.
There's a lot of them. They can be confusing.
Yes, indeed. You're right about that.
I don't know, maybe add a web page onto your website for that, where people can add ones that they know of, and everybody can go on there and check them out. I don't know. That's all I got. WRNZ 382, back to net.
Okay, Rob, good comment there. Well, let's try Art in Surprise 404. And this is WQZ 645 at Control. And let's go over to Les in Waddell 486. Well, let's try Kevin in Glendale 492.
Yes, good evening, Gary and everyone. Yes, I think it's a great question. I like the comments that you're hearing so far. The get-togethers, I think, are invaluable. We're just talking to some of the old heads, some of you guys wearing shirts, and asking questions that are coming up. And so, I think continued gatherings and even throughout the valley, even if it's hosted by a surrogate in that area, I think those are good ideas. Get JB 492.
Okay, Kevin, a good idea, and it kind of goes along with what a lot of people have been saying, because when we have the get-togethers we do have at Barrow's Pizza, we always have a great time there, and we talk about a lot of things, answer some questions, so we could just kind of expand that a little bit, have a few more of those. That's a good idea. Let's go over to Jeff 519, wherever you happen to be tonight. Are you out there? Okay, I knew that Jeff was going to be out of town, so I wasn't sure exactly if he was going to make it tonight or not there on Zell. Let's go over to Larry in Phoenix, 563. Well, let's try Don in Scottsdale, 635.
Hello, Gary in the net. Don here. I don't have any suggestions. I'm kind of just drawing a blank here. Sorry. WROD 635.
No problem, Mother. Don, just if you think of something later on, just let us know. And let's go, in the meantime, we'll go over to Tom in Glendale, 636. Well, let's try Joshua in Mesa, 665.
Howdy doody, everybody out there in radio land. Yeah, I don't really have any ideas of what I want to see in the future. I think you guys really do a lot of work and a lot of outreach and stuff. Yeah, I just need to make it to more meetings and stuff and start knowing people's faces. Alrighty, thanks for doing the net. Nice to hear you out there, El Presidente. WRN Bravo 665. Back to net.
All right, Joshua, good to hear you, and hopefully we can see you out there at one of these get-togethers or one of the meetings. Let's go over to Bob in Waddell, 701.
Good evening, Gary, the net. This is Bob, WRCM 701. I pretty much agree along the lines here of going. I want to see how Connection Fest works out, and I'm sure we can learn a lot from that. Otherwise, we'll just keep doing the good stuff. WRCM 701.
Okay, sounds good, Bob. And of course, when we have the Connection Fest, that will, I'm sure that people afterwards may come up with a few ideas to kind of tweak it up a little bit, make it a little bit better, maybe add a couple of things. I'm just going for the donuts myself. I don't know about anybody else, but let's go over to Lou in Litchfield Park, 709.
Good evening, Gary and the net. This is Lou. Yeah, if you're having donuts there, that sounds like it's definitely a place to be that Saturday morning. So looking forward to the Connection Fest coming up. I was thinking about maybe some sort of maybe mobile antenna tuning party. If a few people have SWR meters, and maybe it could be held quarterly, East Valley and West Valley the next time, that kind of thing. Just give people a chance to meet each other and make sure their antennas are tuned properly. WRKT 709, back to net control.
Okay, Lou, I like that idea. That's a good one. Everybody's got to make sure that they got that SWR in good shape there, and then you get all that RF power out there like it should be. So that's a good idea. I like that one. And let's try Randy in Surprise 717. Well, let's go over to James in Levine 736. Well, let's go over to Corey in Mesa 737. You out there, Corey? Let's try Kurt in Scottsdale 766.
Good evening, Gary. Good evening to the net. This is Kurt, WRKM 766. I would like to see maybe a mobile setup, like battery packs, what guys are using for longer term outside of their car if they're doing those kind of setups. That's what I'm looking for in the car. So let's expect that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea there too. We'll have to keep that in mind. Let's go over to Rich. Well, I think he's out of state, but I'm going to give him a call anyway, just in case he's on Zello. Rich, 772.
Oh, thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'm back home safe and sound. Had a great time at Dayton. I would like to see more for sale stuff done, as well as more tech topics at our get-togethers and such, and maybe some more techie type presentations. And as far as donuts at the Connection Fest, at the Krispy Kremes, count me in for a box. WRKJ772.
Well, you're going to have to get there first because I got my eye on those, Rich. But yeah, that's a couple good ideas right there. Some more tech topics and some for sale items out there. And Attila was going to be checking it out tonight, so we're going to do that for him. And let's go over to Mark 808.
This is 808 Mark. Good evening, everybody. Gary, thanks for taking the net. Really scratching my head to try to come up with a topic to add to the list. One thing I would really like to see, and I'm not sure how you'd set it up, Brick, would be some kind of event held in simplex to the loss of the repeaters around the valley, just to see which different parts of the valley everybody could ping to and get through to. Like I said, in the event that we lost the repeater. WRFP 808, back to net control.
Well, that is a good idea, Mark, and it is so good that we've already got that all set up for you. It's the ESG has got the CNET exercise that we do annually, and that's exactly what we do. We get some of our people up on some of the higher elevation spots in the valley, and the net control is up on South Mountain, and we do some simplex communicating back and forth between those stations and relay messages back and forth just in case the repeaters all went out. So it's a good idea. So, Mark, if you want to get involved in that, that's coming up on July 24th. Let's go over to Bill in Sun City. Out there, Bill, 890.
I'm here, Gary. How you doing? Hey, had a great time at Barrows or Barrows, however you want to pronounce it. Good pizza, good people, and great seeing everybody. I really don't have too much really to think about. I don't know, maybe some fundraising things that we could do later on. Something to kick around. We'll talk about that. WQCA 890, back to the net.
Okay, Bill, that sounds good, and yeah, good to see you out there on Saturday. Let's go over to Chris in Whitman, 942.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Thank you for taking the net. So for what I got is maybe a tech or programming get-together. If somebody has questions or needs some radios programmed, we could always put something together for a group. The other thing for the ESG side and including the regular club is first aid CPR training for those who don't have it. If we can get enough people signed up, we could do a group for that. Also, I have a TYT MD-UV 380 up for sale. It's on the for sale page on the club website. WQW, High 942, back to net.
And I like your segue right into that for sale item that was just mentioned by Rich. That's a good one. Okay, good to hear you in there. Let's go over to Doug in Santan Valley, 953. Okay, let's try James in Sun City West, 960. And this is WQZ 645 net control. Just for ID, let's go to Derek, 966, Unit 2. You out there, Derek? Okay, let's try Dean and Surprise, 966. You out there?
Army 966, Dean over Surprise. Evening, Gary. Evening, Net. Really don't have too much to contribute here. Need to participate more in everything you guys got going on. We're going to 966 back.
Okay, Dean, sounds good, and hopefully we can see sometime at one of these events out there. Let's go over to Doug Ian Chandler, 993.
Hey, Gary, thanks so much for running the net tonight, and kudos to a lot of the folks and ideas that you guys come up with. A couple I had, possibly, Greg, would be possibly to have new member orientation. Maybe do it once a quarter, maybe every 2 months, just so people can kind of get in and get the feel for it. Another one would possibly be, I don't know if it's possible because I'm new, some additional nets, maybe during the week that were topics specific. Could be kind of interesting, and then last thing, again, you don't know if it's available or not, but with the travel channel, it's great maybe to have members that log on to a certain time period at night, so if someone is traveling through town and, looking for a hotel, looking for a open garage or service station or something like that, a local member of Tuesday could actually have something for that. WROZ 993, back to the net.
Okay, Doug, yeah, that sounds a couple of good ideas right there. New member orientation is one idea that might just come to pass there. Well, let's go over to Michelle in Cape Creek, 411. Okay, let's try David in Phoenix, 788. And let's go over to Mike in Peoria, 856. Okay, that brings us down to the end of the normal roster. So let's give a call out and see if we've got any stations that would like to check in that haven't already checked in or haven't been called. Go ahead and call in now.
WRQH385, late check-in, sorry.
Whiskey, Romeo, Papa, Yankee, 760, this is Bubba.
Okay, yep. Already, and we're going to get to you and some of these others here in just a second. That one station, that 385 station, was that WRQH 385?
It's Ken.
Okay, and what was your name again, sir? Okay, well, let's go ahead and check and see if we've got any other stations that would like to check in.
WQVM 978, Daniel.
Okay, we've got WQVM 978. Daniel has checked in. Any other stations?
WREL 486. Gary, can you check me in and out?
Okay, we got you checked in and out. Any other stations? Okay, station calling. You want to try that again one more time?
WRQL 729, Mike.
Okay, we got 729 Mike checked in. Any other stations? Okay, very good. WQZ 645, net control. And now we will start down the list here again of the check-in list here. Let's go to 811 Kevin.
Good evening, Neil. I'm real new to this, and a couple things I'd like to see is just more kind of meeting you guys and learning a little more about this, especially people up in northern Arizona.
Okay, Kevin, that sounds good. Well, we're thinking about making some things available online, too, and if you can't make it down to the valley here much.
Copy that, and more than anything, just learning. Thank you again, and 811 clear.
Okay, Kevin. Good comment there. Let's go over to 760 Bubba. What you got to say?
Whiskey Romeo Papa 760 Bubba. Hey, this is my new 578 radio. How's it sound, Gary?
Sounds pretty good. Sounds loud and clear.
Okay, hey, my big deal, first let's talk to that guy about the low-calorie spaghetti. Come on, it's spaghetti dinner. But anyway, I was going to say antennas, because I've been having problems with antennas, and I went out and bought that new Rig Expert antenna analyzer, and come to find out all these antennas I bought that they said are good, they're almost worthless. And I had to do a lot of stuff to get them right. And I think an antenna thing, because I'm sure everybody, they buy these rubber duckies, and they're just not any good at all.
Well, Bubby, good idea. And to be during the Connection Fest coming up here, I'm going to be doing a little presentation, a little talk about antennas and what to do with them, how to check them out, and good placement locations on car or truck.
Amen, Gary, and thank you. And I wanted you to touch one more time on that July 24th Simplex thing, and this 760 sitting on the side.
Go ahead, Brent.
Gary, that exercise is July 23rd.
All right, thanks for the correction there, Brent. Saturday, July 23rd. And let's go on to Steve, 637. Steve, WRCG 637, you out there? Okay, well, let's go over to Chuck 693.
Well, it's Chuck 693 out here in North Peoria. I piggyback on what Bubba was talking about with these antennas. I haven't got that analyzer fancy like he's got. I'm been doing this, I don't know, about a year now with you know, the help from some of you guys in the club, and I would really like that. So I think that would be a good thing to have these connection fests. That's all I got. WRKL 693 clear.
Okay, sounds good. Good comment there. Let's go over to Bob 729. You out there, Bob? Yeah, out there, 729. Was there a Flagstaff station calling? Okay, well, let's try 385. Did you have a comment for us tonight?
This is WRQH385. I don't really have a comment tonight other than the fact that I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of new people June 4th. Back to the net, WQRH385.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you up there. Hey, let's go over to 978 Daniel.
This is Daniel, 978. Good evening to you and Annette. Just a good call on everybody. Good suggestions. Love to practically attend every one of them. I have one more, which is Stop the Bleed, and I can also teach that if you guys need, so we can talk about that offline. But other than that, good suggestions. This is WQVM 978. Back to Ned.
Okay, Daniel, that sounds good. Why don't you send me an email with some information on that to president at azgmrs.org, and maybe we can get something set up on that.
Absolutely, I will do that tomorrow morning. WQVM 978, and I'll be clear.
Okay, sounds good. And let's go to 729 Mike.
729 Mike. Hey, thanks for what you do. But so my suggestion would be, like, when we do the fest, if we could do like a swap meet of sorts. I thought that would be pretty cool. Otherwise, as Chris was saying earlier, I can help out with doing first aid, CPR, that kind of stuff. So if that's something we want to do, I'm willing to do that. 729, clear back to me.
Mike, yeah, that sounds like a good idea there. We'll have to look at that as well. And we are looking at the possibility of having a first aid course as part of the ESG courses that we're setting up, so that may just happen. So we'll work on that. It's WQZ 645 Net Control. Any other stations that want to check in before we roll up this net?
WRKJ 520 from South Scottsdale. I wanted to tag in on the concepts of Stop the Bleed class. I had just secured the Stop the Bleed class for July 16th in South Scottsdale at the Honor Health Military Outreach Center. It'll be from 12:45 to 14:45 hours. It's a free class. The instructors are trained military field as well as normal RNs and practitioners. The class is free, and I will post that on our forum, and I will send a bit of information on to the president at AZGRMS, but you're all welcome to join us. We're doing this through the Maricopa County Preparedness Team, and we would look forward to anybody who wants to get in on that. Come join us. The more of us know how to stop the bleed, the better it is. WRKJ 520. Over.
Oh, you did that just perfect. It's just before the repeater timed out. I mean, that was absolutely perfect. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Go ahead and post that on the forum about that Stop the Bleed program, and we'll get that information out there. Any other stations have any comments or questions for the net tonight? Okay, very good. Well, sure appreciate everybody that checked into the net tonight, and we will go ahead and call it an evening for the 1900 net. We'll talk to you next week. Hopefully we'll see you up there at the Connection Fest on June 4th. And we're going to go ahead and return the repeater back to normal operations. We have the ESG net coming up at 8 p.m. This is WQZ 645. Well, good evening. This is Gary, WQZ645. It is 8 p.m. and I'll be your net control for the Arizona Emergency Services Group Net. This net is normally conducted after the Tuesday night 1900 net concludes right about 8 p.m. The Arizona Emergency Services Group, or AESG, is part of the Arizona GMRS Repeater Club. And the volunteers in our group are a team of licensed GMRS operators. Many are also ham radio operators who receive training and also conduct exercises to expand our skills. Those who are dual licensed have an extra tool in their radio toolbox. The purpose of this net is to perform a regular test of communications equipment, provide training in emergency procedures, and exchange information related to preparedness. All nets, whether for training exercises, events, or incidents, are directed nets. Now, if you're interested in joining our group, well, just send us an email. Send it to esg@azgmrs.org. Now, any station may break in at any time with emergency or priority traffic. Is there any such traffic at this time? And hearing none, we'll go ahead and continue with the net. Now, those who have already checked in online don't have to check in over the air. Any station that has not checked in online can check in now. Go ahead and check in with your name and call sign. Okay, very good. We'll get right to the roster here in just a minute. Just wanted to mention a couple of things here. Now, we do have that CNET exercise, the Community Emergency Net exercise coming up on Saturday, July 23rd. And more information will be sent out on that to all of our ESG members, and it'll also be posted on the forum and the Facebook group as well. So information will be out there if you want to get involved in that, and that simplex test. And of course, part of that exercise, we test how far we can send a signal by simplex from one side of the county to the other, and then send that same message back. And then we also have another part of the exercise where we have simulated emergency callers that call into our monitoring points, and then those messages are relayed to net control, and then net control relays them to a ham operator at the Phoenix Emergency Operations Center, and then that completes the full contact there. So if you're interested in that, just let us know. Contact us by email at esg@azgmrs.org, or contact us on the forums there and let us know. Okay, now our topic for tonight has to do with Hazmat. And we're going to have some more detailed information going out to all the ESG members by email with more information on that, probably tonight or tomorrow, to kind of follow up on this. So our question tonight is, for the group, is what is Hazmat? What does it mean? And have you ever been involved in a situation where you've had a Hazmat incident that you had to deal with? So let's go to our roster here, and let's go over to the number one guy on the list, Chris, over in Whitman, 942.
Yeah, I don't know about number one, but maybe number one on the list, that's about it. Especially if you ask my ex. Yeah, so Hazmat, yeah, it can, that's a lot of things. I'm not sure how to describe it. I know what it means, but I don't know how to describe it. I have not been involved with anything other than low oxygen situations in my job, but yeah, that's all I got for you. WQW 942.
Okay, well, we will head on down to the next one on the list here, number 1, and we'll go down to, let's see, I think Les checked in and out, but we'll call him anyway, make sure if he's out there or not. Les in Waddell, 486. Okay, well, let's go over to D966.
Good evening. I don't think I have any traffic. Not familiar enough with that, with the hazmat stuff. So we'll be in and out in the Army 966.
Okay, Dean, sounds good. And we'll be talking about getting into that hazmat stuff and what that's all about here in just a little bit. Let's go over to 520 in Scottsdale. Keith?
Good evening, Net. Thank you very much. Yes, I've had quite a bit of experience. Hazmat stands for Hazardous Materials. So anything that could cause a biological hazard, which could cause structure damage, which could cause road damage like oil or trucks being turned over. And in my career and lifetime, I've had experience with all kinds of hazmats. WRKJ 520, standing by.
Okay, Keith, that's a good answer there. Appreciate that comment, and that's try Kurt in Scottsdale, 766.
766, Kurt. Let's see, toxic chemicals, radiological, and probably fuels are the only ones that I know about. I don't have any experience in that, though. 766, back to that.
Okay, very good. And that is definitely some of the items that are definitely hazardous materials right there. Let's go over to Brent, 299.
Hey, Gary. Just like everybody else has mentioned already, it stands for Hazardous Materials. And when I worked in a nursing home setting, we dealt with a chlorine leak twice in a 2-year period. That was a wonderful experience. WQWZ 299.
Yes, I bet it was. That is when it gets in high concentrations, that is some pretty rotten stuff there in the atmosphere. Okay, let's go over to Mike in Peoria, 856. Okay, let's try Michelle in Cave Creek, 411. This is WQZ 645 Net Control. And any other stations that wanted to go ahead and check into the net tonight, go ahead and call in now. Okay, very good. Well, we're going to get started talking about hazmat here. Hazardous materials, and sometimes a lot of those are hazardous chemicals, but there are other materials as well. They are pretty much used everywhere. They're used in the home, and industry, and healthcare, and education, and government. And they can be a solid, a liquid, a gas, a biological, or radioactive. These materials are transported via truck, rail, ship, and aircraft. Accidents can occur during the transportation of these materials, during use at a facility, or even at somebody's home. Hazardous materials can be hazard to health. They can also cause property damage and can adversely affect the environment as well. An accident may result from an unattended spill from a container, the ignition of the material, release into the air, or combining the wrong two chemicals reaction. That can cause a problem there as well. Now, just as an example, some of the items just in somebody's home that are considered hazardous materials include insecticides, fuels like gasoline, LPG, natural gas, oils and solvents, sulfuric acid from batteries, disinfectants, antifreeze, brake or power steering fluid, pool chemicals, certain paints, and also turpentine. And just some examples there of some hazardous chemicals. And of course, the ones that we're normally concerned about are the major incidents. When you have teams from fire departments, a hazmat team may respond, and they're specially trained in that area. And large incidents may cause evacuations. Now, back on not too long ago, on April 21st, there was an incident at a Chandler, Arizona battery storage facility that sent several firefighters to the hospital and also caused an evacuation within about a quarter mile of the site. Now, that's an example of a hazmat incident right there. And then I remember one when I was out in Buckeye and working out there. We had an incident there where we had a report of a train going off the tracks there, a derailment. And they responded down there, and we took a look at that, and we had a train car on its side there, and it was leaking a little bit of stuff, and we weren't quite sure what it was at that point in time. And we found out pretty quickly that it was LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. And then when we looked down the rails down there, we saw that there were 15 other tank cars of the same stuff. So we had quite a little situation there where if one of those tanks decided to go, then it's probably just going to be a chain reaction, and they were all going to go. And so what you have there is you've got liquefied petroleum gas, which is actually a gaseous material, which is condensed 370 times down into a liquid. So if it comes out of the tank and it's released somehow, then it expands 370 times back into a gaseous material. So you have like a 10,000 gallon tank. Now it's expanded 370 times. And if it happens to ignite at the same time that it's expanding, you have something called a BLEVE, a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. And that's not something that you want to be around. That can cause damage out to a good quarter mile around. Each one of those would cause that. So we had to do an evacuation of a pretty good part of the town of Buckeye back then. So that gives you an example of a couple of different kinds of hazmat incidents that can happen. And what we do want to talk about is what we always talk about, and that is being resilient. What can we do as ESG members? What can the average person do? Obviously, they can't really deal with the hazmat situation itself, but can we determine what the material is in a hazmat incident? And can we determine what we need to do to protect ourselves and our family just in case emergency responders can't get there right away? And in a major emergency situation, that's very possible. We may be on our own for a little while. So we're going to talk about how we can do that and how we can be aware of just what the hazard is and how to deal with that and how to respond to that to protect our family if that were to happen. This is WQZ 645 Net Control, and it is exactly 8:15. And the information we're going to send out in an email goes into more detail about all this, but I just want to mention and make sure everybody is aware of a little app that you can put on your phone that is very useful. It's from the auspices of the U.S. Department of Transportation, and it's called the ERG, the Emergency Response Guide. And you can look that up for Android or for iOS device and download that onto your phone. And the reason why it's a really good thing to have on your phone is if there is a hazmat incident, and you can look at the placard, which is the sign that's posted on the tanks and that type of thing of vehicles containing hazardous materials, and a 4-digit number. You can input that 4-digit number into that app, and it will tell you what the chemical, not just what type of chemical, what the exact chemical is that's being transported, and what kind of hazard it presents, and it also will go into a lot more detailed information. It will tell you the initial evacuation area that you should get yourself and your family and any others in your group back away from it. It can also, if you put in information in there, it's a pretty neat little app. If you put in information about the type of material, the wind direction, the coordinates or the address of the location of the hazardous materials release, it will actually give you a little map there that tells you what area should be evacuated initially before the experts arrive. So that's a really good thing to have on your phone. I've got one on mine. I've tried it out, and sure enough, it works. You put in that information and input that data, and it will generate a little map that will tell you, okay, this is the initial evacuation area where people should evacuate that area and get out of the danger zone. And where do you find that number? Well, if you've ever noticed the diamond-shaped signs on the back or sides of a semi-truck trailer or tank and wondered what they are, well, that's the hazmat placards, they call them, and they provide details about the kind of cargo by using that 4-digit number that you can input into that app. And that allows you to know just how serious the situation is. And of course, when we talked about hazardous materials, that involves explosives, gases, flammable and combustible materials, solids and liquids, oxidizers, poisons, radioactive materials, corrosives, and other miscellaneous materials. So that's basically what we wanted to cover tonight. And when we send out this information, it'll have it in the email, it'll have an attachment, and it kind of goes through all this and goes through has some photos of the different kinds of placards and what they look like, and gives a good description of them. So that's basically what we wanted to cover tonight. And let me throw it out there. See if anybody has any questions or comments for the net tonight. Okay, very good. Well, that means that I get to finally eat some dinner, maybe. I sure appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who checked into both nets tonight, and we will talk to you next week on the nets. We'll go ahead and return the repeater back to normal operations. This is WQZ 645.